guys, it's Fadra from All Things Fadra, and I'm talking cars today. Specifically, I'm talking EVs, and what better place to do it than right here at the New York Auto Show. I'm looking at what's coming up behind me because you can't hear it, but you can see it. You can hear the tires on the floor. We're talking about EVs today because gas prices are not going any lower. So I think people are really starting to focus on EVs. Whether you love them or whether you hate them, it's time to take a closer look at some of the hottest EVs that are out there. And a lot more auto manufacturers than you think are offering them. Right here at the EV test track, you can get behind the wheel of a Nissan, a Kia, a Volvo, a Volkswagen, a Chevrolet, and then some other brands that maybe you haven't heard of, like Vinfast and Indi. There are no shortages of EVs out there. So I thought maybe I could give you a quick look at some of the hottest EVs that are out there inside and out, and even show you a few that are coming to market or potentially coming to market someday soon.
Let's head into the show and start with Ford. Ford is investing $22 billion in electrification through 2025, and we're going to start with the Ford F-150 Lightning. This has been officially launched at the end of April with a starting price of less than $40,000, but you're probably going to go up from there. Comes standard with 2 electric motors and all-wheel drive, and horsepower is from 426 to 563, and the most torque of any F-150 ever. Next up, you know it, you love it, the Ford Mustang Mach-E. I spent a week in this, so be sure to check out my video for my in-depth review. This starts at $43,000 and change, goes up to almost $62,000 if you want the GT. But I'm happy with the 346 horsepower in the E all-wheel drive 428 pound-feet of torque. It is fast with a range of 277. Head on over to Chevy, and we've got the Chevy Bolt EV, which has been around a while. I reviewed it back in 2017. It starts at $31,500. It's been redesigned, and it's a good entry-level EV. 200 horsepower, 266 pound-feet of torque. It's got a range of 259 miles, but it's only available in front-wheel drive. And its bigger brother or sister, the Bolt EUV, looks very similar, sounds very similar, but it's longer, it's heavier, has more legroom. Chevy says it's more spacious inside, and it's supposed to have a bit more rugged styling. So this is considered an electric utility vehicle, also front-wheel drive only. 247-mile range starts at $33,500. The Chevy Silverado EV, anticipated for a 2023 release. I wasn't able to get inside of this one, but you have to know that this has a large battery, a 400-mile range, and it is fast. 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds. This starts right around $40,000, and you can outfit it up to $80,000. Now, this is just meant to tease you. I didn't really get to see much with the ID buzz, but it is supposedly finally coming to market in 2023. What is in the market now is the Volkswagen ID.4. Now, Volkswagen plans to make 22 million electric vehicles in the next 2 years. This one right here is considered a small SUV, starts at just over $41,000, and you can get it with a single motor, rear-wheel drive, or 2-motor option, which makes it all-wheel drive. Has a range of 280 miles and goes from 201 to 295 horsepower. But what I really like are these cool cup holders. Nissan finally brings their A game, or Nissan, as my son likes to say, the Ariya. I think this is a really amazing looking car, and Nissan is aiming to have 23 electric vehicles between Nissan and Infiniti by 2030. So this is considered an electric crossover. It's got a low and wide profile, which I love, kind of like the Murano. And you'll find it has two different motor and battery options, which is common with a lot of EVs. So a single electric motor is typically going to give you front-wheel drive. If you opt for the twin motor, that gives you all-wheel drive, and usually an extended range or a larger battery. This has a 300-mile range, and the horsepower goes from 238 to 349. It starts at about $46,000, but it's gorgeous, and it's going to be available in fall of 2022. But you can put a deposit down now if you want. Oh, and look who's finally getting into the EV game. Subaru brings you this Solterra. And Subaru says by the first half of 2030, every single Subaru will be electrified. But I need to pause for a moment and just give Subaru some booth appreciation love here. It's always a gorgeous setup. Now, the Solterra is built on an all-new electric vehicle architecture called the Subaru Global Platform. It's going to start right around $50,000, but it does have 8.3 inches of ground clearance, so it is still meant to go off-road. It is a standard all-wheel drive with a 220-mile range, horsepower between 215 and 249, depending on your configuration. And we've got the worst named vehicle, the Toyota BZ4X. And if that looks really similar to what you just saw, it's because it is. Take a look at their chassis, which kind of helps you understand how EVs are built. And just know that Toyota and Subaru Solterra are built on the same platform. They were co-developed together. This has up to a 250-mile range, and it arrives in U.S. dealers by mid-2022. Available front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Starts at $42,000. Remember the Hyundai Kona EV? It's now the Hyundai Kona Electric. And Hyundai is serious, with 23 battery electric vehicles due by 2025. They're a little bit different because their plug is actually at the front of the car instead of on the side. This is considered an all-electric SUV, so it actually has pretty good space inside. It starts at only $34,000, and it's got a range of 258 miles. The Hyundai Ioniq 5. This was a popular vehicle, and I kept having to yell at people to get out of my shot. So this is part of Hyundai's all-new, all-electric sub-brand, the Ioniq. And as with other EVs, it comes with a single or dual motor and an option for an extended range battery. It starts at $44,000. It's got a gorgeous interior, and its footprint is the same as the Tucson, if you're familiar with that SUV. So it's a good-sized vehicle, and it's got really good ranges depending on your configuration. So it can go anywhere from 256 to 303 miles. That's its range. Horsepower up to 320, torque up to 446. Smooth ride. The Kia Niro is back, and it is all electric. The Niro EV starts at $42,000. This subcompact SUV has a range of about 253 miles. And for this EV, it's got new styling. They use a lot of recycled materials. It's got a very digital interior with a single electric motor giving you 201 horsepower, 291 pound-feet of torque, more than any other Niro. One of my favorite looking EVs, the Kia EV6. This is a crossover, and it starts with a light trim and will be going up to a GT, available in late 2022. Depending on how you have it configured, you can get up to 310 miles in your range, and if you wait for the GT, the horsepower goes up to 576 and the torque goes up to 446. It's going to be fast. And it's pretty. And who doesn't love a good concept vehicle? The EV9 Concept is an EV SUV with third-row seating. Now, this Concept has a solar panel on the hood, and it's similar to what Hyundai's planning to offer with the Ioniq 7. But this one is estimated to come to market in 2023 and give you a 300-mile range. Remember Chrysler? They are back with the Airflow concept. This is what they're calling an intelligent battery electric vehicle that reinvents the user experience. Right now, it's just a concept, but they're thinking it may come to fruition by 2024 because the platform already exists and they'd be looking at up to 400-mile range. And now for something completely different, the Vietnamese-based automotive group called Vingroup, this is Vinfast. They're a startup just focused on EVs. Their cars have been around since 2019, and this is considered a sophisticated midsize e-SUV. Has a 292-mile range, up to 402 horsepower, available the second half of 2022. I'm kind of excited about this Vietnamese brand. And finally, Indi, created in Los Angeles, California in 2017, they specialize in the design of the next generation of electric vehicles. It has 300-mile range, 475 horsepower, but what makes this different is the vehicle-integrated computer capable of high-end gaming for every passenger. You'll be able to completely customize the vehicle, and it's due in market by Q2 2023.
So that's a wrap for me at the New York Auto Show and my take on the EVs that are here. Tell me what you thought. What are your feelings on EVs? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you still a little hesitant? I gotta tell you personally, I own a plug-in hybrid because I'm not ready to commit to that EV lifestyle. I still have a little range anxiety, but I'm really impressed at the way some of these automakers, maybe the outside hasn't really stepped up, but the interior certainly has. So let me know your favorites, let me know what you think, and more importantly, hit that subscribe button so you can come back for more great car content just like this.